As long as microbes have been around, fermentation has existed in some capacity. And we wanted to apply it to transform healthy plants and foods into medicinal products. And our fermentation method is really unique in that we don't use any heat, we don't use any chemical compounds or any additives to our process. We really rely on the power of diverse microbes, so 45 plus microbes.
Today's guest, I'm speaking with Whitney Douglas. Whitney is the Director of Sales for Living Alchemy. Living Alchemy specializes in manufacturing and distributing traditionally fermented, non-GMO, certified organic, whole food supplements, exclusive to the Natural Health Channel in Canada and the United States. Whitney has spent nearly 2 decades working, learning, and sharing her expertise in the natural health industry. Her rich understanding and profound interest in the holistic wellness industry has gained her a respected voice that is characterized by a well-informed background and a captivating authenticity. This episode, we are going to talk about fermented probiotics, fermented turmeric, and their many benefits, along with Living Alchemy's unique capsules. You won't want to miss this episode. Welcome, Whitney. Thank you for joining me on my podcast.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. So, Whitney, give us a little bit of history, how you got into the whole holistic wellness field.
Wow, it's kind of been a lifelong journey for me, to be honest with you. I grew up in Guelph, Ontario, and my mother and my aunts and my grandfather were all chiropractors. So, from a very early age, I was immersed in a very holistic wellness space. And it wasn't until, though, I would say I was about 25, I was in school to become a midwife. And I was at University of Guelph planning on going into midwifery college. And a friend of mine who worked in the wellness space asked me for some help with a wellness weekend and just doing some education and talking. And I ended up getting offered a job shortly thereafter from my first company. It was a probiotic company based in Quebec. And from there, it's just, I've had an opportunity to work for over the last 20 years for a lot of really great wellness brands in the space. And I've learned a lot. I've moved various roles. I've worked in sales, I've worked in education. And now for the last 7 years, I have been with Living Alchemy as the director of sales for Canada and the US. And it's just been such an amazing experience meeting so many great people. And overall, the industry is just so positive, and you get to learn so much about yourself and so much about health and wellness. And I've loved it. It's just been such an expansive experience for me.
Well, Living Alchemy, now some people may not know Living Alchemy is a supplement company, but they're very unique. They've been around since 2016, so fairly young company. But what I'm seeing is some new products, some new innovation. But the really key to a lot of your products are fermentation.
Yeah.
So can you, like, you have a whole line of probiotics that are fermented. Can you elaborate on that whole process?
For sure. Yeah. So fermentation, there are a few brands that did fermentation. They would incorporate it into some of their formulas. But Living Alchemy really wanted to be the leaders in that space. We really wanted to utilize a technology which has been around for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. As long as microbes have been around, fermentation has existed in some capacity. And we wanted to apply it to transform healthy plants and foods into medicinal products. And our fermentation method is really unique in that we don't use any heat, we don't use any chemical compounds or any additives to our process. We really rely on the power of diverse microbes. So 45 plus microbes, different species of beneficial bacteria are involved with our process, and doing it in a natural way. So by not applying heat, we do it at body temperature. So it's very, very natural, long fermentation. So the microbes have a chance to really activate the raw materials and really bring them to life and make them digestible and usable by the body.
So when you say micro, so let's bring it down. What do you mean by micro? What is that?
Microbes, so like beneficial bacteria. So those would often be called probiotics. So those could be beneficial species of lactobacillus, acidophilus. We're all familiar with that. There's also certain types of beneficial yeasts that are involved with our process, like Saccharomyces cerevisiae. So these are all bacteria that have been shown to have a positive benefit when ingested by humans. So we're all familiar with bad microbes like E. coli. And then there are the good microbes which have a positive health benefit to you.
So I know like we have one product from you guys. We have several, but the one specific one, I've told you this, it's called Terrain. And terrain being, the terrain of your gut flora. But I get so much positive feedback on that particular product. Can you speak on that one a little bit?
Yeah, Terrain is definitely one of those products that really put us on the map because it was so unique. When you look at the probiotic shelf, we're often met with things like, gas and bloating or women's health or, constipation, which is, those are pretty common when you look at probiotics. But Terrain is a probiotic that's really indicated for leaky gut. So, leaky gut when the tight junctions in the intestinal lining have kind of separated from each other. That could be because of medication, that could be because of autoimmune conditions, allergies, a myriad of reasons why someone might get leaky gut. But when those tight junctions in the gut get disturbed in any way, it allows for things to pass into the bloodstream from the digestive system. So that could be proteins or other things that create systemic problems in the body. Sometimes those things manifest as eczema, some of those manifest as asthma, food intolerances. When you meet someone who's got an array of food intolerances and they can't understand why they're allergic to every nut and every grain, and it's usually because leaky gut is the culprit. So the Your Flora Terrain is a probiotic product that combines the 45 strains of beneficial bacteria with pre and postbiotics. So those are the beneficial compounds that feed your gut flora, and as well as the postbiotics that give energy and kind of signaling to the rest of the digestive system and help it to heal. So it's really unique in that it targets all of those things in one capsule. And then really there's that additional support from the herbs that are in there. So you've got the slippery elm and the marshmallow root and the aloe, which are very cooling and calming and healing for the digestive system.
I was going to say that because your probiotics, so all of them have that 45 strains?
Every single one of our probiotics, the
Oh,
base
that's
is the same.
amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And then there's the little additions like the slippery elm, the aloe. I think
Hmm.
there's Comfort has chamomile with it. So there's
Yeah.
different targeting. So it's
Hmm.
all the 45 strains, but then there's different herbs along with it to target different conditions,
Exactly.
basically.
Exactly.
Nice, very nice. And the fermentation, and I think a lot of us suffer with leaky gut. We may not call it that or we may not realize that, but if you're stressed, you
Hmm.
have some form of a leaky gut for sure.
Absolutely.
Yes, yeah.
Absolutely.
And the fermentation helps for the absorption.
Well, exactly. That's just it. I mean, when you look at the way probiotics are typically made, it's just isolated freeze dried bacteria only. And that's only part of the equation. When we're talking about the gut microbiome, that microbiome requires a whole myriad of nutrients to really thrive and be healthy. It's not just about bacteria, it's about creating an ecosystem that's hospitable for all of the bacteria to proliferate and to colonize and to grow, strong and healthily. And there's lots of different things that can help or can promote good bacteria growth. Those postbiotics are one of them, and so are the prebiotics. So it's important to really include more than just bacteria because a lot of people are dealing with digestive inflammation and pH issues, and they have low surface area in the gut, so not enough space for the bacteria to colonize. So when we address the health of the terrain and really get to the root cause, then the digestion, everything just improves because the whole system is running more efficiently, and the mucosal lining of the digestive system is really strong.
Well, and like you said too, like for eczema, any sort of skin disorder, allergies. So if you fix this, then
Mhm.
all these other things will start, even sleeping better. All these other conditions will fix themselves.
Exactly.
That's really nice. Now, this was a long time ago, a long time ago. So I would say 2018, because you're a fairly new company, 2016. I did a training with your founder, and it was on turmeric. And at that time, turmeric, well, everyone had a turmeric product or curcumin, but yours is a fermented turmeric, so it's very high amounts. So again, speak on that, the fermentation of turmeric, and why would I want that opposed to another brand, let's say?
For sure. So, turmeric itself is a root that most people are familiar with from cooking and culinary, right? We see it a lot in Indonesian food, Indian food. We're familiar with it in that space, but it's medicinally has got really, really high amounts of curcumin, many different curcuminoids actually within that plant, tumerones and antioxidants. Most of the supplements we're seeing on the market right now are just curcumin. So just one component taken out of the turmeric root and then often offered in a very high dose. But what's lacking in that is all the other cofactors and all the other incredible nutrients, like I mentioned, the essential oils, the tumerones, the antioxidants, vitamins, and minerals that are present in the plant. So by fermenting the whole root, and going through that process that makes it water soluble, easy to digest, easy on the liver, easy on the digestive system, you're able to get the benefits of the whole plant and all the synergy that's in that turmeric root that you don't get from just taking the isolated curcumin on its own. So, oftentimes with high doses of isolated curcumin, you're getting some liver issues, digestive issues, people get upset stomach, and it's just our bodies aren't really designed to ingest that amount of curcumin because curcumin is a fat soluble compound. So naturally, it's very difficult to digest. So it takes a lot of work on the body to actually get benefit from the curcumin without fermenting it and without all of those additional cofactors in there.
Yeah, and people are coming in looking, oh, I want it with black pepper. But because it's fermented, you don't need the black pepper. But would you
No,
say
exactly.
doing it with a fat as well?
Exactly. So, yeah, we eliminate the need for fat because the turmeric does become completely water soluble through the fermentation process. So, we don't need that fat source. And then the black pepper, it's a vasodilator. So, essentially, what that means is it just increases the movement of the compounds in the body. It doesn't necessarily improve the assimilation, but it does help them stay in the bloodstream longer. But with that, there's also some activity within the liver that gets suppressed to allow that to happen, So it does turn off some detox pathways in the liver to allow it to circulate in the body a little bit longer. So for someone who's got cancer or someone who's dealing with liver issues, that might not be the best thing for them. It's a little bit kind of putting a bit too much pressure on the body when you might not really need to. So the fermented way offers you all the benefits, like I mentioned, the myriad of nutrients, all the cofactors, and the benefit of having it fermented and water soluble. So it's nutrition that's completely ready for your body to work with.
Yeah, so you're saying the culinary aspects of turmeric, and so used in Indian culinary foods. But they still have inflammation, they still
Totally.
have, yeah, so it's not the food part of it, like the spice part of it, but it's the separating the curcuminoids of it for healing,
Mhm.
the healing process. I tell people, turmeric is a bigger molecule, or this is what I was told, so it's hard for the body to assimilate or break it down, where
Mhm.
being fermented, it makes it a bit more easier to break it down and utilize in your body. But you use the term cofactor. I like that because we don't get those cofactors enough,
Mhm.
which can be minerals, which can be vitamins to help that whole digestion, right?
It's very similar to, like, when you consider vitamin C and oranges. When you eat an orange, you're not just getting a vitamin C, ascorbic acid, you're getting bioflavonoids and rutin and lots of other things
Fiber,
and
yes,
fiber that
yes,
help your body to work with that nutrition. I mean, your body
mhm,
understands food. Like, we don't need to teach it.
yes,
It
for
knows how
sure.
to it
Yeah,
knows how to
yeah.
deal with food. And I
Yes.
think that's part of the reason why our products work so well because they are completely whole food based and we use the fermentation to elevate and increase the nutrition and to make them more digestible. But essentially, at the end of the day, it is a whole food. So molecularly, you're speaking the same language as your supplements.
Nice, nice. Well, speaking of that, something that you guys do that's very unique, it's called a Pullulan, if I'm saying that right, I'm not butchering it, capsules, and not a lot of companies will do that. Can you explain what that is? Because I get people asking me, and it's very unique.
For sure. The Pullulan capsule is unique in the sense that it is a vegan capsule, but it's not a V cap. We see a lot of the V caps on the market. And those were a solution that was brought to market to address people not wanting to have gelatin. So, wanting to have an option for a capsule that wasn't gelatin. So, while they are vegan, the V caps, they're also a semi synthetic hybrid. Like they're not 100% whole food. There's some aspects of them that does not really make them a whole food source for a capsule. The Pullulan capsule is made of fermented tapioca starch. So it is a completely vegan, whole food fermented capsule. It is very, very protective, like in the sense when you store the products on the shelf in the bottle, they're very protective. So it doesn't allow our products to oxidize, but they're also very easy to digest. So when you take our products, your body, the stomach acids will break them down. They start to go to work right away because they are made of food again. So it helps the body and the body recognizes it and knows what to do with it. And it also allows us to not include things in our products like magnesium stearate, which is an additive that's used in a lot of different products. So, in terms of our manufacturing, it keeps us very clean. We don't have any additives added to our products, or binders, or fillers, or lubricants, or waxes, or things that you are typically finding in the supplement space right now. So, we keep, even down to our manufacturing, we are completely whole food and we don't add anything that isn't usable in some way by the body.
So magnesium stearate, so for those people that don't know what that is, and why is that detrimental to our health?
So magnesium stearate is used in lubrication. It lubricates the capsulation machines so that they can speed it up and basically the machines don't clog. So it's an input that's there for the manufacturing. We are actually semi-manual in terms of our manufacturing, which means that there's parts of our process that still involve manual human labor. And we do that to avoid having to add things like magnesium stearate. I've mentioned this before that we've got people in the space now taking more supplements than ever before. So it's really, really important that we read those labels to understand that if we're taking a little bit of magnesium stearate in all 10 of our supplements, that is having a bioaccumulative effect in the body.
Sure, sure. So I get customers will see a bottle of turmeric and not from my store, and they'll say, "Oh, but it's like, I don't know, 2000 milligrams of turmeric or whatever it is." And I said, "But look at the non-medicinal, then there's a whole list of all
Yeah.
kinds of other additives." And
Mhm.
just like you said, if you're taking that every day, that's just one supplement. But if you're taking another supplement, what's the non-medicinal of that one,
Mhm.
another one, and it's accumulative, like you said. And that
Mhm.
magnesium stearate, and you commented earlier before the broadcast about how it's affecting kidney and liver health.
Definitely. It's an unnatural material that bioaccumulates in the body. Like
Mm,
if it's not food, your body does not know what to do with it. That's just a
yes,
very simple rule of
yes,
thumb.
yeah, yeah.
So we as a company, truly believe that food is medicine. We really believe that. So every product that we come out with is going to be based in that sort of tenet and philosophy of our company.
Mhm.
And also understanding that it is hard for some people to get, all of the daily requirements of food and vegetables and all of the things you need every single day. So that's why supplements have a space, right? We allow you to help fill in the gaps and we help to address issues like health concerns that are generally related to, gaps in nutrition. It's holistic from start to finish.
So in saying that, so you guys just came out with a supplement for women, like a multi for women and a multi for men. So like you're saying, to fill in that gap, and trust me, a lot of people need gap filling. Can you talk about those? Like what makes those superior apart from the pooling capsules? what makes those superior and whole food absorption?
Totally. So when we were looking to create the men's and women's dailies, we needed to have something because we are recognizing that people do take multivitamins. And typically what you're seeing is, again, the isolated B vitamins, the isolated vitamin C, and they're very unnatural. So we wanted to create something that was completely whole food and fermented that we could offer that was not an isolate. We wanted to make sure that we were using food 100% in this formula. So we chose all of the different herbs to ferment based on their percentages of things like vitamin C, of iron, of, iodine. So we put together a formula based on superfoods that we then fermented, and then we added additional herbs for hormonal support for women, hormonal support for men, and as well as some microalgae in there as well for different EFAs to really complete the formula.
Oh my goodness, that's amazing. And the people that I have taking it, they notice a difference. Energy, sleep better, and just focus, which is
Awesome.
amazing. Yeah, and it's just one a day, isn't it?
You can take 1 to 2. I feel
Okay.
for me, when I'm kind of feeling underfed,
Yeah.
undernourished, underslept, I typically
Yes.
take more.
Yeah,
If I'm
yeah.
traveling, for example, which I've been doing a
True.
lot of lately, then I'll take more. But it's your own body. You have to
Mhm.
listen to your own
That's
body. Some
correct.
people take their probiotics and
Yes.
they need 2, or if it's more severe, sometimes even 3. But for
Mhm.
just general maintenance, they're fine on 1. It's really a lot of our brand is really based in listening to what your body's telling you and being very sort of receptive
Mhm.
to, those signals and signs.
In tune to
Yeah.
what's going on.
Mhm.
Whitney, this has been wonderful. We're just, touching a tip of the iceberg, really. There's so much wealth of information with your products and you've come out with zinc, you've come out with some other women's probiotics, men probiotic, very specific.
Mhm.
You've won awards for best supplements with the Alive Awards in 2024. That's amazing. For a young company, that's wonderful. Canadian company, based out of BC.
Mhm.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you for this time. Thank you for this information. Do you have any last words for us, Whitney?
Well, I just want to say thank you for doing this and for starting this podcast to help educate more Canadian consumers and worldwide consumers on the benefits of natural health products and highlighting brands that are really aligned with you. And yeah, just really appreciate you and everything you're doing.
Excellent. Thank you, Whitney. Thanks for this time.
Take care.
I do hope you found value in today's episode. Let me know in the comments below if you are taking a probiotic or if you are curious and want to try Living Alchemy's probiotic or their turmeric. They are offering a 15% discount on your first order. Check out the show notes below and head over to their website. If you are enjoying these videos, give me a like, a subscribe, leave a comment. I look at all the comments. Every time you interact with this channel, you are helping it to grow, and it is greatly appreciated.